Hello, this is Daniel from soundheadquarters.com. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the treatment plan for this home theater. To go from that to this, I'm going to show you step by step the building of all of these acoustic panels and the installation of the panels as well as the ceiling clouds and some of their existing acoustics that we put on the front wall as well. So we're starting off with 2x2x8 lumber, and I'm getting all of my pieces cut. So my long side pieces are cut to 48 inches at 4 feet, and then my short side pieces are cut to 27 and just about an 1/8 inch over, 27 inches. So our final exterior dimension of these panel frames are 51 inches by just over 27 inches. And that way the interior dimension of our acoustic panel frames are 2 feet by 4 feet. So that way they can accept the pieces of rigid acoustic insulation. So now that we have all of our pieces cut, I'm just gonna assemble them. So I'm using the floor as a guide for my drill. You can see here I'm pre-drilling on the rear side of these panel frames. So basically I want the screw holes to be closer to me rather than closer to the floor. That way there's room for the frame to pass through the chamfer bit on my router table, as you can see right now. And that is gonna put a nice 45-degree bevel on the front face of these acoustic panel frames. And this isn't a necessary step, this is just more of an aesthetic thing. Just provides a nice professional and nice beveled edge on these frames. You can see the finished look right there after the chamfering. And there you can see why it's important that our screws are closer to the rear side of the panel frame. So now I'm going ahead and getting the rear side fabric cut and stapled onto my panel frame. This is just a black polyester. This is just to cover up the rear side of the panel frame and to contain the acoustic insulation. So I'm just going ahead getting all of those panel frames done with the rear fabric first, and now it's ready for the Rockwool Comfort Board 80. This is the acoustic insulation that's readily available here in the Toronto, Canada area. More commonly used in other places of the world would be the rigid Owens Corning 703 or 705. But here locally, I'm able to source the Rockwool Comfort Board 80, so that's what we're going with. So then I got my front fabric cut, and I'm going through the upholstery process right now, making sure that I do equal tension and just make all of my seams nice and neat on the rear side of the panel. So that way when I cut off the excess and everything is stapled on, we have a nice clean look on the front face of the panels, as you can see right there. This is a two-tone wool polyester blend. It has a very nice texture to it. And it's a really nice kind of signature fabric that I use here at Sound Headquarters. Here is the client's home theater. This is before any treatment. I figured out my height of all my panels using my laser level there to account for the window sill. These are the French cleats that I'm using to mount these panels. And I'm just using my drill, I'm using drywall anchors, and the hardware, the screws that came with the drywall anchors to screw in those metal cleats into the wall. So right here, I'm just getting all of my markouts. I can drill through the drywall, screw in my drywall anchor, and then those cleats can just screw right into the anchor holes, using that laser level to make sure that all of my panels have a nice consistent height all the way around the room, and that when we actually hang the panel, it hangs completely level. So now I'm just doing the same thing on the rear side of the panel. So you can see I use a little bit piece of tape just to get that fabric to lay flat so the fabric does not get in the way of the cleat. And then it's as simple as just hanging it right onto the cleat. It's great using these French cleats because then you still have left to right adjustability of placement of the panel. So it's just a good piece of hardware to use when you're hanging this style of panel, because then you have that left to right adjustability to get your final acoustic panel placement so that all of your gaps are nice and equal and consistent. As you can see there, we have all the nice equal gaps across that length of the far wall there. So now we're going to get ready to install our ceiling hardware. These are the drywall anchors. I'm using those eyelet screw hooks, and these, since the client wanted these to be nice and close to the ceiling, we are not using any chain or anything. We're going completely hardware to hardware. So you can see I drilled out my hole in the ceiling. Now I can screw in that drywall anchor, and then I can thread that screw hook, that eyelet, into that drywall anchor. And these drywall anchors are rated for about 50 pounds each. I like using these metal ones because they're nice and strong, and they have a really, really strong bite on that metal eyelet. So now in the rear side of the panel, I'm screwing in an open eyelet That way I can just literally slide the panel right onto the closed eyelet, and it's very easy on and off installation. Now, just going ahead and making sure that all of my markouts and using the laser for every single line here, because we're doing 4 acoustic clouds total, and you can see them hanging up right there. We want all of those lines to be nice and consistent and cross-referenced with each other. That way on the rear side of the room, when you're looking down the room, those panels are exactly in line with each other. So now we're going ahead and getting these existing panels that the client already had. This is from Prime Acoustics London 12 kit. And this was a mistake that I did here actually. So I was gonna use PL construction adhesive to stick these panels onto the wall, but you guys can learn from my mistake here. And I had to end up switching to a spray-on adhesive that was gonna cure pretty much instantly. Because what happened was when I stuck that panel on, that glue, that PL construction adhesive needs a long time to cure. So pretty much we were kind of stuck just holding it there in place. So we held it in place, got it stuck on with a whole bunch of masking tape just to kind of let it cure overnight while I switched to this spray-on adhesive. So you can see I just sprayed that adhesive onto the rear side of the panel, and I sprayed it onto mainly the fabric area because that's the piece that will be touching the wall the most when I go to press it on. And you can see I'm using my laser level lined up with all of the existing acoustic panel tops. That way we just have a nice consistent height all the way around the room for that front wall. And the way that we did the layout here was we did 2 of the larger Prime Acoustic panels on each side, and then 6 of these smaller 1-foot square Prime Acoustic panels. And most of those panels aren't going to be visible, as you can see with the large TV and sound system and TV set in front of it, but it was important that we got some absorption on that front wall to really help tie in the acoustics for this space. So there you can see the finished product. If you guys enjoyed watching, please consider liking, sharing, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been Daniel from Sound Headquarters. Peace out.